Greetings, YouTube. I'm sure at one time or another we've had someone come into our home to do work. I recently had a plumber here. Now, while my plumber was here, I discussed the water heater he was working on. I discussed, the space he needed to work in. Um, I talked about my tool bench because the fact that was um, I'd gotten it really cheap, and he was in the same room as the tool bench. I talked about lots of things with the plumber. I didn't ask my plumber for medical advice. And why did I ask not ask my plumber for medical advice? Because my plumber has no medical training. If I want medical advice, serious medical advice that I'm going to be using to base medical decisions on, I'm going to talk to a medical professional, which seems to make perfect sense. You talk to a doctor. I've talked to a dermatologist when I've had skin issues. I've talked to my eye doctor when I've had eye issues. I talk to a dentist when I have teeth issues. You get the point. Medical professionals, highly skilled people, capable of giving me the information I need. Now, it is conceivable that I would disagree with one of them. I could seek another medical professional. But I'm not going to go and ask my plumber. Why do I bring this up? Well, right now in Canada, there's a bill being proposed, I believe in Ontario, that would require any parent seeking a medical exemption for their children's vaccines to take a class on vaccinations so that the parent can be as informed as possible for a layperson about making decisions about their children and whether their children should have vaccines or not. Now, as you know, I am an advocate of vaccines, and I feel that everyone should get them, and that all children should be vaccinated, and any child that is not vaccinated should not be allowed in public schools. They are a danger. They present a real danger to other students and to people who have compromised immune systems. The elderly, for example, people on certain kind of suppression drugs, and to a minor effect, people like me who are diabetic. I get sick more often than I used to, and it takes me longer to get rid of things because my immune system has been affected by my disease. But it got me thinking, why do we allow parents to make medical decisions for their children? Unless that parent is a medical professional, you're allowing someone to make a medical decision for another human being who has no medical training. That doesn't seem good. That seems ungood. I would put that in the really bad category. It's not healthy. It isn't smart. And yet we do it. I should point out that when I was 9, I asked one of my compatriots of my same age bracket as I, why do we listen to the parents? Because they're just people, which significantly undermined his worldview. He didn't take well to that question. But at a very young age, I began to question why we treat parents as a special category. Why is somehow having produced an offspring grant parents some kind of special social status other than just ordinary people who have an ordinary layperson's understanding of medical knowledge for the most part? Why are they being allowed to make decisions about someone else's life? That seems weird to me. It really does. And I don't get it. I mean, if I walked into your house, you're not going to grant me the power of life and death over you because you don't know me that well. You don't know how much medical knowledge I have. It would not be smart to just sign away your rights of your life to another person unless they were a medical professional. So why is it that parents automatically have the power of life and death over their own children? That seems like a holdover from a Bronze Age era concept. That your children are your property and you may do with them as you will. Children are human beings and they should be treated as such. And I don't think that they should have their lives capriciously decided upon by people with no medical knowledge. And yet we do this every day, a million times a day, a billion times a day. People make decisions about their kids. They have no knowledge to make decisions on, and yet they're making them. I really don't have a direction for this video. I'm just really baffled about the idea that we just accept this as the norm. That just seems very strange to me. Because children aren't property. They're people. And they should be treated like people. And whether they live or die shouldn't be decided by another person like that. Particularly when that person has no medical knowledge. But then again, the criteria for becoming a parent is very low. Put tab A into slot B, repeat as necessary. And unfortunately, a lot of the times, children are surprises. They come out of the blue. People weren't planning for them, which is even worse. If you're not planning to have a child, cool, I got no problem with that. I got no kids, but make sure you don't have them either. So, why do you think we accept this? Why is this norm so pervasive? I don't think I've ever actually encountered anyone that ever questioned this before. I mean, literally, in my entire 51 years of life, I don't think I've ever heard anyone speak about this or read it anywhere, questioning a parent's right to make medical decisions for their child. And I'm not saying I'm coming up with an original idea. I've imagined there's lots of people who have thought about this, but I've never heard it out loud. I've never seen it in print. And I think it's something that we should be discussing. I think it's something that parents should be discussing. I think it's something as we as a society need to discuss. Because it has profound ramifications for us as a society, as a species. And the collection of humanity is an important entity. And children aren't property. They're people. And I think they should be treated like people. And I'm really hoping that's not a radical idea.